Hey everyone, it's Bree and welcome back to my channel. So, guess what day it is? Today we are doing our Topic Tuesday, and the topic for you is healthy boundaries. So, stay tuned for Topic Tuesday. Boundaries. So today we are talking about healthy boundaries, and this is a great topic, which hopefully this video won't be too long because you can talk about boundaries. So first I want to start with the definition of boundaries, which is a line that marks the limits of an area, a dividing line, a limit of a subject or sphere of activity. So that being said, how do we use boundaries? Boundaries are kind of like how we govern our actions, how we govern people, and kind of like a course of events, for example, in relationships. It kind of controls and influences those things. So, in other words, boundaries kind of outline the do's and the don'ts, right? First, I want to start off with the boundaries for different types of relationships. So, everybody, repeat after me. No. Say it one more time. No. Yeah, you got it. So why is this 2-letter, 1-syllable word so hard for us to say? And I admit, I'm guilty of it too, because I find it very difficult at times to say no to individuals, especially if I perceive that they need my help, or if there's something that they want me to do. I just find it so hard to say no. And this has backfired against me several times because I've been put in situations where that have created an overwhelming amount of stress, because I put other people in front of myself, which often put me off task on whatever I was doing. I kind of neglected what I was doing, and it just, added a lot of stress. But in reality, who put me in those situations? I did. Because I did not take the time to say, okay, this is what you can do, this is how far you can go with that, and then you need to go back to yourself. You need to take care of your own situations, your own tasks. I didn't take the time to do that, therefore I put myself, in those situations to have that overwhelming stress. So in order for you to help, we've heard this several times, in order for you to help someone else, you have to help yourself. So how does that apply when it comes to boundaries? Well, which we'll talk more a little later. With that being said, in order to set those boundaries for other people to follow, we first have to know our self-worth, our value. Because our values, once we have our values, we're able to set those standards to protect our values. But if we have no understanding of our value, what we're worth, what we deserve, how we deserve to be treated, things of that nature, we can't help someone else not step over those boundaries. Am I making sense here? And when it comes with setting boundaries with other people, it's not a matter of saying, hi, nice to meet you, here's my list. No, it does not have to be that way. And then you don't have to say things in a negative or a mean way. You don't have to come across as being mean and everything. And it can be done nicely. It doesn't have to be mean, like, don't touch my stuff. Like, yeah. And a big thing here, the key is communication. I want you to communicate your boundaries, because communication is probably the part that is the hardest, because many of us we understand what our boundaries are. We understand how we want to be treated, things of that nature, but it's the how do I communicate this? How do I come off that's not like mean, or just how do I get this out the right way? And sometimes that we ask ourselves that. Just simply, it's not me, it's you. I'm just kidding. That's not the way. Unless, but you have to identify like that. Since you've identified what you want, now it's just time to communicate. Because I mean, if they never know, if this is never expressed to them, the door is left open for anything, you know, to be said or done. And remember that we have no control over other people's feelings, other people's emotions. We cannot predict how they will react or how they will feel from something that we say. So moving on to personal boundaries that we set for ourselves, either to protect ourselves, our emotions, or also to keep us focused on a task. I think the first step here is self-worth and self-awareness. As I briefly mentioned before, when you know your worth and your preferences, it makes it difficult for other people to walk over that and walk over your value. You know your value. You're not going to let anyone you're not going to let anyone walk all over that. So can you imagine how difficult that would be for someone who is having difficulty seeing their true worth and their value due to their past circumstances or their present circumstances? And do you also see how important self-love is here when we're talking about this, how important that self-love is? Because from knowledge of your value, we are able to create our standards to protect ourselves. But if we don't know our value, it's like that open door, you know? Saying no is also an important part of personal boundaries, because once you sit down and you take that self-awareness, you're able to see, you know, I want to reach this point as far as my spiritual growth, this is my goal for, you know, physical well-being, just knowing like the areas that you want to improve in, whether it's school, whether it's health, whether it's, you know, different goals and tasks that you set for yourself. Sometimes you have to learn how to say no to yourself. Like, you have to sit and look in the mirror and just be like, Bree, no, that ain't happening. So, and then the example of that is like, for example, if you know you're trying to, excuse me, know you're trying to better yourself spiritually, and you're wanting to go do something else on Sunday or Wednesday when you know these services are going on, you have to discipline yourself, set that boundary, and say no. Like, if you want to reach this goal, you're gonna have to, you know, put more effort into improving. You put more effort into it, because it's not just gonna come. So that's one thing as far as saying no to yourself. We're talking about healthy boundaries, y'all. And the biggest boundary that we're experiencing right now is the social distancing. So yeah, don't walk around being mean to everybody and just like move, get out my way. We don't have to do that, y'all. But we are right now as you know, the entire world is practicing that social distancing, which is that boundary, you know. So remember to set healthy boundaries for yourself as well as with others. Again, you don't have to be mean, you don't have to say it in any type of manner, but if you have established those boundaries, you first went through that self-awareness stage, identifying your self-worth, your value. Now you know how you want to be treated, what you deserve out of people, as well as your personal goals. We'll talk about self-worth in another video, because I realize that there are individuals who have not taken the step or have went through different situations that have affected their view on themselves. So self-worth is another video for another time. Today we're talking about healthy boundaries, and I hope that now don't go talking to your friends, your family, and everything about boundaries that you have set and said, Bree told me to tell you this. Nah, I didn't say that. I did not say that. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like. We will be going on live to discuss this topic tonight. I'm excited about that. Please join me on Facebook for that. I will make it public so everyone can be a part of that. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed our Topic Tuesday for today. Bye.